This is not something that's 10 or 20 or 30 years down the road. This is now, and we have to act now to help with adaptation and resilience, which I know is a theme of COP26 today.
As nations continue to grapple behind the scenes at COP26 to reach agreements aimed at keeping global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, former President Barack Obama reiterated the need for everyone to do their part, especially when it comes to small island nations.
All of us have a part to play. All of us have work to do. All of us have sacrifices to make. But those of us who live in big, wealthy nations, those of us who help to precipitate the problem, we have an added burden to make sure that we are working with and helping and assisting those who are less responsible and less able, but are more vulnerable to this oncoming crisis.
And it's those most vulnerable and less responsible that many say are living on the front lines of the climate crisis. But it's also that we all suffer from its impacts and must all adapt.
Over the last year, we have seen extreme weather rage across the world. From floods in Central Europe and China, wildfires in North America and Australia, to what some have described as the world's first climate-induced drought in southern Madagascar. Nowhere is immune to climate change, and this is precisely why we must come together to forge global agreement here in Glasgow, responding to adaptation needs, which is vital.
Adaptation with or by local communities, rather than to them, helps us all learn how to ensure a more equitable future that is climate resilient for everyone. And at this critical time, we know that more needs to be done to ensure that the people at the forefront of climate change have the tools and the support that are needed to allow them to take further action.
In a speech to the entire conference, Mr. Obama said that while the United States is making progress and is confident we will meet our pledges to do more, we are still falling short.
As the world's second largest emitter of greenhouse gases, the U.S. has to lead. We have enormous responsibilities.
He criticized China and Russia for being no-shows and said not only the U.S. needs to step up.
We are nowhere near where we need to be yet. For starters, despite the progress that Paris represented, most countries have failed to meet the action plans that they set 6 years ago. And the consequences of not moving fast enough are becoming more apparent all the time. Last month, a study found that 85% of the global population has experienced weather events that were more severe because of climate change.
He also encouraged young people and others to continue the fight.
There are times where I feel discouraged. There are times where the future seems somewhat bleak. We can't afford hopelessness. Instead, we are going to have to muster the will and the passion and the activism of citizens pushing governments, companies, and everyone else to meet this challenge.